Hello, my fellow property managers. So as owner clients, prospective owner clients, are contacting you and they call you up and say, yes, I'm considering hiring you to manage my property, here's what you're going to hear a lot more of if you're not hearing it already. They're going to say, I would prefer to sell this property, but the sales market's slow. I can't sell it, but I'm going to keep listing it for sale. I also want you to list it for rent. And if it sells first, great. But if you can rent it first, I'll pull it off the sales market. So here you go. That's what they're going to say to you. You have a decision to make right there. Will you manage a property which is also at the same time listed for sale? And they think, well, gosh, I know I can get it rented before they get it sold, and it's an opportunity for a good property to come on board, but yet maybe there's some pitfalls if it's also listed for sale. What do we do? What do we do? Well, let me just offer you a couple suggestions, because this is not a right or wrong. You can decide for you what's best for you in this business. But first of all, there are some legal considerations here, aren't there? Depending on what state you're in and how your state has agency law created and structured, you need to consider that. Can a property have two agents? Could you have one agency relationship trying to sell the property? Maybe you can in your state, maybe in some states you can't. Can you have another agency relationship on the same property with the same owner, also trying, or at the same time, trying to lease the property? So there's some legal aspects there. That's a legal consideration. What if, from a legal standpoint, they sign the sales contract the same day you sign the property management agreement? Is it a race? Could that create a legal issue? You bet it can. And those things happen. Those things absolutely happen. So there are some legal considerations. Now, this is assuming a different company is selling the house as trying to rent the house. If you're doing both, that's different. That's different. But if they say, yeah, I've already got a different agent, they're trying to sell it, let them sell it, let you try to rent it. That's consideration number one. Now, consideration number two, just as important, are the practical considerations. I mean, think about this for a minute. What is the communication going to be between the agent, the other agent who's listing it for sale, and you, because they're bringing potential buyers in and out, you're bringing tenants in and out. You think they're ever going to cross paths? I think they are. Do you think that if you do electronic lockbox showings and you're not present, and a potential tenant is in there viewing the property, and suddenly an agent walks in with a potential buyer, and they're not aware that that tenant is in there, you think they're going to scare that tenant away? Because they see that tenant as competition, they want to sell to the seller. It's going to confuse the seller. So you can see how that whole piece of it is going to get really, really confusing on that side of things. And as I said a moment ago, because this has happened to us when we've played with this in the past, I promise you, if you do this long enough, you will call your owner and say, hey, owner, congratulations. We signed a lease today on the property, collected a deposit, it's leased, pulled off the market. And here's what they're going to say. Well, actually, the agent just called me. They're expecting an offer in the next 5 minutes. So don't sign that management agreement. I'm expecting a sales contract in the next couple minutes, and I would prefer to sell it. So just hold tight on that. And you're like, hold tight on it. We just signed a lease. What do you want me to do? So you're going to create problems for yourself if you try to do both of these things together. Now, before I give you the suggestion on kind of how we navigate this, I want to thank the sponsor for this month's video, Good Juju. Isn't that a fun thing to say? Good Juju. We all need to be found online. And Google looks at our website, right? They want to make sure that your website has all the organic things that it should have. That's what Good Juju can do for you on your website. They're going to go into the website. They're going to build in the SEO stuff. They can help with the AdWords campaigns if you want to do that. They can do the social media posts. They can do all that stuff so that you can focus on what you do best, property management. I'm going to put a link in here. Their website is Gain Good Juju. Just got to say it twice. It's so much fun. GainGoodJuju.com. Jump on their site. Get a demo. I know these guys, sharp guys. They understand property management. They understand property management websites, and they can help you get found by your clients more often. Okay, so for us, here's our rule. If somebody wants to list their property for sale, at the same time they want to list it for rent and kind of have a race to the finish line, that's fine. We'll totally do that as long as we are also the sales agent. If we can be the sales agent and we can be the leasing agent at the same time, that's fine. We're racing against ourselves, but we can communicate pretty well with ourselves. So we know what's happening on that side of things. That's the only way we'll do it. Now, if you say, well, Mark, I don't do sales. I only do property management. Then my friends, I would recommend you probably don't allow this in your clients to do. You say to them, listen, if you're going to have us rent the property, you're going to have to pull it off the sales market. You've got to choose sell or rent, but it can't be both. You can't run both those races at the same time unless you're running them both through me. and we do sales. So if you do sales, great, then you could build this in to that. If you're not doing sales, and this is going to become more and more common as the sales market continues to slow, do not get yourself trapped in this. Because if you sign a lease agreement and the owner then tells you, well, gosh, I just signed a sales agreement. I was going to call you. Like, I just signed it 5 minutes ago. Don't do anything with that lease. How do you think those approved tenants are going to react when you call them to inform them that the property actually just sold, and so you'll give them their application fee back and their deposit back, but I'm sorry, you actually can't rent this property because it's for sale. Aside from the fact that it's going to make it twice as hard for you to rent the property when tenants are walking through knowing that the owner's going to sell. And you're going to tell them, well, if they sell it, they're going to pull off the sales market. The applicant's still going to get cold feet. It's a big negative from an applicant's consideration if the property is listed for sale at the same time. So, I mean, there's 100 reasons of potential pitfalls with this. Brings up another secondary question, which we've addressed in a video previously, and that is this: should you continue to manage the property when they are listing it for sale? So this is kind of a subset of that. Let's pretend you're already managing the property. And they say, hey, I want to list this thing for sale. I want you to keep managing it, though, until it sells. I'm going to put a link to a video we did previously on this topic because we have a lot to say and suggestions that you may want to consider before you manage a property that is already has a tenant in place and is already listed for sale. So I'll put a link in there. Go back and watch video number 132 on that topic of managing if it's listed for sale. My friends, how else can we help you? Jump on our website, pmbuild.com, where everything we have in place is to help you build, grow, and protect your property management company. Until next time, I wish you success in property management.